If someone had warned me that the trip along Willow Pass Road would end in blood, I would have stayed in Fort Benton scrubbing the floor of a storehouse. But that morning, I only wanted to reach Dakota Crossing alive. My name is Emma Harrow, and I was leaving Fort Benton in the Montana Territory to meet my brother in Dakota Crossing, where he worked at the North Fork sawmill. Mr. Beckett's stagecoach departed as soon as the sun lit the Pine Water Creek River, running silently beside the town. Settlers didn't travel at night. A dark road was an invitation to death, so everything was done early, under strong daylight. With me traveled Mr. Alden, a salesman, talkative like every man who carries more dreams than money. Mrs. Porter, a widowed seamstress, heading to live with her niece in Dakota Crossing. Jonah, a 15-year-old orphan, sent to work on a ranch far from the bad influences of town. Everyone had a destination. Everyone had a reason to go. The road was clear, cold, but predictable, typical early winter weather. After nearly 2 hours, we reached the stretch known as Cold Ridge Path, a narrow and dangerous portion of Willow Pass Road. Snow piled up easily there. That's when it happened. The stagecoach jolted with a dry snap. Mr. Beckett pulled the reins, but the second crack came before we could react. 2 axles broke at the same time. The coach toppled onto its side, sliding across the ice until it crashed to a violent stop. We stumbled out, dazed, and then we saw it. A huge log under the snow, perfectly positioned to bring the stagecoach down. That wasn't an accident, it had been placed there. The driver lifted his head, suspicious. "Stay together," he said, hand already moving toward his rifle. But it was too late. 4 men emerged from the pines, walking slowly, smiling like wolves that had found easy prey. They wore no masks. Bandits who plan to leave survivors wear masks. Those who don't plan to. The leader, a large man with a tangled beard, said, "The log worked perfectly. Now, let's get to business." It was fast, cruel, merciless. First, they shot the driver. Then Alden, who tried to negotiate. Mrs. Porter screamed, followed by a gunshot. Jonah ran, didn't make it 3 steps. Everything happened before me like a nightmare I was far too awake for. I stayed still, paralyzed. The leader approached, studying me like a jar of preserves on a store shelf. "Not this one," he said, "would be a waste." The others laughed, a filthy laugh that raised every hair on my body. I knew exactly what that meant. They didn't tie me up. They thought I posed no threat. That was their mistake. While they searched the stagecoach, I crouched slowly. One of the bandits had a knife on his belt. I waited. 1 second, 2. I grabbed the blade and hid it inside my coat. I knew what I needed to do. Better to die than be used by them. I raised the knife to my chest, took a breath, and a shot echoed. The nearest bandit fell dead into the snow. The other 3 spun in panic. The second dropped, still holding Alden's pocket watch. The third collapsed without even knowing where the shot came from. The last one grabbed me violently, ripping the knife from my hand, pressing a revolver to my head, making me a hostage. I closed my eyes. His body fell onto my back before collapsing into the snow. Silence. I had been saved, or something worse was coming. Then I heard hoofsteps. A horse approached, snorting against the cold. A man dismounted, brown hair, short beard, dark clothes, heavy coat, low hat. His pistol still smoked. His gaze was sharp and wary until he looked at me. Then I saw only concern.
"Miss, are you all right?"
I tried to answer, but no sound came.
I came as soon as I saw the stagecoach overturned.
He stepped closer.
Is anyone else alive?
I shook my head. No.
Do you want me to take you back to Fort Benton?
Yes, sir. Please. The man worked in silence. He tied the bandits' bodies to his horse, one by one, with practiced efficiency, collected their guns, ammunition, and dirty money, calmed the stagecoach horses and secured them to his own. Then he extended his hand to me. He helped me climb onto the saddle behind him, carefully, as if holding something fragile. He mounted, pulled the reins, and we left. I held tight to his coat as we left Cold Ridge Path behind, felt the solidity of his shoulders, the smell of leather and tobacco in the cold air. After everything, I didn't know I was still capable of feeling safe. We rode slowly along the snowy road, the sunlight flashing on the snow like ground glass. The same path where my world had ended moments earlier, but now it felt like another place, or maybe I was the one who had changed. With the steady rhythm of the horse and the quiet warmth of his body before me, something opened inside. Not quite hope, not quite peace, but alive. Alive. Just like I felt in that moment. And that's how we rode back to Fort Benton. Me, holding onto the back of a bounty hunter, who appeared at the exact moment when everything seemed lost, and who, without saying much at all, made me believe there was still a path for me in this world. The way back to Fort Benton was silent. As Cold Ridge Path disappeared behind us, I felt something strange, as if a part of me had stayed there on that road. But that road had also given me something in return. The hunter turned his head slightly, just enough to confirm I was still conscious. He didn't say anything. He simply kept riding, steady, as if the road were an old acquaintance of his. I moved a little closer, seeking a warmth I didn't even know I needed so much. When we reached the edge of the town, some men rushed over to see the bodies tied to the horse. They called the sheriff immediately. I was taken inside the small sheriff's office, where he offered me water and asked me to tell him what had happened. My voice wavered, but I told him everything. The fall, the hidden log, the gunshots, and how I would have died if that man hadn't appeared. The hunter lit a cigarette and stood in a corner, leaning against the wall, watching everything with the same calm look as before. He explained to the sheriff how he had found the bandits. The sheriff looked at us for a moment, then said, "Seems the two of you showed up at the right moment for each other." I felt my face warm, but I couldn't answer. The hunter adjusted his hat and looked away, as if trying to hide a smile, which only made me blush even more. And after that day, nothing was ever the same again, for me or for him.